Hello everyone, it is Erin Flodo, and today we are talking goals again. So we are coming up on the next quarter of goals. For a refresher, my goal system is a little bit different. I have an annual vision, quarterly check-ins, monthly intentions, and then daily tracking. So my annual vision for 2026, if we skip ahead, is losing weight and feeling better in my clothing. For finances, it's building a savings and retirement. For business, it's being consistent and build consistent branding. And the last is less chaos and everything has a spot for home and organization. So for this quarter, the first quarter of 2026, from January through March, was eating healthy consistently for physical health, finding a new budget for finances, post short and long form consistently for business, and then baby proofing the house for home and organization. So we have had months laid out here. So we have January, February, and March. And basically my intention for this is to kind of do a recap of the months. I have that already in my regular everyday bullet journal, so I just kind of need to go back in to be able to do that here. So you have what the goals were and then kind of the outcome of the goals on the next page. Same here. February goals, outcome of February goals, March goals, and then outcome of March goals. So that will lead to this quarter. So I'm going to do a quarterly review, and then I am also going to set up for the next quarter's check-in. So really quick, let me set up those pages. So I'm going to set up a quarterly review and the next quarter pages, and then I'm going to come back and talk about what my goals are for this next quarter. Okay, so you saw me have a whole bunch of trouble, but it is what it is. I don't know why I was not able to figure that out. So for the quarterly review, I put as the headers what last quarter's goals check-in was, the focus for the quarter. And then it's not the end of the quarter yet, so I'm not going to fill this out yet, but I'm not sure if I'm going to journal, if I'm going to put some like tangibles on here, or if I'm going to break it down, like there's 1, 2, 3 lines available for me to put what each month was, but that feels like I'm just repeating because that's what I'm doing here. So I think this is going to be less tangible, more how did it go, and just writing the experience versus tangibles, because that is what this whole part is for. So in terms of this quarter, I have the headers again for the quarterly check-in. I might put like a little number 2 here. Although for me, my brain thinks it's quarter 3 because that's how the federal government works. Fiscal year 26 starts in 2025, October 2025. So I might not put the actual quarter here because it'll just mess with my brain. And then I have this sheet. It's from one of the Archer and Olive, one of their subscriptions, maybe. I'm not really sure. But it's like the little like reading catalog. And I just cut this up for here. And I like the line down the center because it kind of looks like how you would, old school here, how you would outline your notes for college. So I like that idea. So I have picked what my quarter is going to look like. Sorry, I had to get my notes. So for physical health, while I'm still going to focus on eating healthy, that by no means is going to go away because losing weight primarily has to do with your nutrition. So that's not going away. But I will say it was a very, very long winter. So my focus for this quarter is to move more outside. So let me go ahead and write that down. So not only is this going to be like going for walks, but this is also like playing with my son outside. Our gym has like, it's in the garage, so you can open up the garage door and work out while you are outside. So it's more of that type of feel, is like just get out and about, move your body, play around, walk, do things outside. It was such a long winter, and I am keeping my fingers crossed that for me in the Northeast, it will not rain just constantly, because that keeps happening. So I'm gonna define this a little bit more once it comes to the months, so you'll see what I mean when I'm setting up my goals for April. Because I think that one is going to be like work outside in the gym like 3 days a week. So that, I think that's probably going to be the goal there. So the next one is finances. And this one is going to be automate savings and investments. So there's a few things we have to do for this. I have to update my retirement and where the retirement money is going, and then automate the monthly payments. Now that we kind of have our budget set, I know how much can go towards retirement savings, building up a rainy day fund, things like that. So that way it's not just like when I think about it, I move money, but rather like the first day of the month, you know, money is going into my son's 529 account, for example. So that's automating that. That way that's off of my brain and I don't have to think about it. The next one is business. And my annual vision for my business is be consistent / build consistent branding. So this quarter I'm focusing on the branding portion of things. Last quarter I was focused on posting. And I think I have been posting more regularly, not every day or anything, but more regularly. So for this quarter, I'm going to work on my branding. So for this one, I've tried so many different things with my business over the years, whether it's doing more educational content, just filling out my planners, more goals related, the sticker shop, all those kinds of things. I kind of want to focus on just the one niche and figuring out what I want to do with all of this. Like, yes, I'm still doing my shop. There's still digital and physical stickers in my shop, but I want to focus on what I want to focus on. um, and I don't think any of the sticker business stuff is making enough money, but it's already done. So, like, why not still have it available? And it's such a minor part of everything. So, but I do want to establish that consistency in what the brand is. And um, when you look at my page, you'll know it's my page. And I just don't feel like that is well established because I like to be versatile and I like to do things that different people like to do. But obviously, it makes it really tough because they don't see one background and be like, oh, that's Aaron Photo Designs. So I think that's kind of what I'm exploring this month and updating the website and all of that kind of stuff. The last one is home and organization. So for this annual vision, it was like less chaos, like everything has a spot. This one, I have been basically prepping like this quarter for what I'm doing. Well, this quarter, January through March, for all of the things to take effect in this upcoming quarter, which is April through, what is it? July? June? April, May, June. So that's reducing clutter and leaning more towards minimalism in our home. My husband and I both get very, well, I get very overwhelmed, and then I think that overwhelms him, that I'm overwhelmed with the amount of stuff we have. We only have a 2-bedroom house. We have 4 animals, and we have 3 humans living here. It's just not enough space for having crap, especially crap that's just not needed. So that is what we're going to be focusing on in this quarter. I only used one line on all these other ones, so I wasn't going to put lean minimalist because that wouldn't have fit. But that is kind of where we're heading, is leaning towards a more minimalist lifestyle. Like, I'm not going to take away toys, although we have so many toys. And we do keep shipping toys off to my mother-in-law's house. And I think when my parents come in a couple weeks, we're going to be shipping some stuff back to them that like they let us borrow. So I think I'm going to be doing that also and being like, hey, here's toys. Although I think we're the only ones planning to potentially have a second kid. I don't think either of my brothers are planning to have a second kid at this moment in their lives. So maybe that's coming right back up. I have no idea. But anyways, so that is the plan for the quarter. So anyways, that is my check-in for the quarter. This is my, I think I mentioned this in my original goals video, but basically I go from big umbrella vision to, hey, let's narrow the focus. So last quarter I was focusing on my eating habits. And so then each month I focus on a different aspect of those eating habits. So that is why these are still kind of bigger ideas that then get broken down into things that can be a little bit more tangibly tracked. So monthly intentions, and then you do daily tracking to hold yourself accountable to those intentions. So that is it. That is my plan for this quarter. Thank you so much for joining me and planning alongside with me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.